Hey, I'm going to do a quick overview, a little tier list for Spellcaster Chronicles first playtest. Do keep in mind that there's going to be another playtest that we already know is going to have a new map and a lot of new content, so things are going to change. Some of this may not be applicable at all, but this is how it was at least for the previous playtest, the first one they ever did. So for starters, I'm just going to do a general overview to make it a little more sense. So if you are unaware or forgotten, there are 3 roles. There's duelists, which is going to be your witch, your monk, and then there are conquerors, which are your fire elementalist and your iron sorcerer, and then we have enchanter, which is your scribe and your stone shaman. And then there are your spells, your tier 1 spells, your tier 2 spells, your tier 3 spells, your tier 4 spells, which also have infusions. And then again, tier 1s, tier 2s, tier 3s, tier 4s for your summons. Something to note, there are only 2 characters currently that have built-in infusions, which are the witch and the fire elementalist. This being the poison infusion, which is max HP plus HP regen, and there's fire elementalist, which is a damage boost, about 30-40% damage boost from what we tested. And then there is a pseudo infusion where it's just described where they increase their max health for their units. I say pseudo because it doesn't actually count as an infusion, which is why it's so strong, because you can use both the witch infusion and this one's little buff, and that's why it's pretty damn strong. Alright, so just we have that little overview down. Just going to go ahead and start rating them. So when I rate these characters, I'm generally going to be rating them with comparison to someone else who's going to be doing their role. So when I'm rating duelist, I'm going to be comparing the 2 duelists, and it's going to inherently change how each one's going to be rated. So I'm going to rate the monk really low, mainly because I rate the witch so highly. Because again, in this current game, where there's only 6 characters and 3 roles, if the witch, and there's no bans, so if the witch is really good, which it is, and the monk isn't really good, it's inherently just really, really, really bad, because its only competition is significantly better than it. So I would never want to pick this character just because the witch is so good. So I'm going to go into specifically why. And the main reason, these characters currently at least really aren't that complex. Like, there's not that much going on to them. So let's go over to the monk. So you see the only really differences, each one has their primary. They each have a mobility escape tool. They each have an ultimate, and they have 2 to 3 passives. So the main reason why the monk's not very good is actually really simply just because its passives and its ult isn't good. So when the first passive is when they kill a spellcaster with a spell, she gains a charge of that spell. Issue is, generally you're killing with a tier 2 spell, you have like 15 of these, this passive doesn't do anything. And this is the next issue, spells deal increased damage when the target's under half health. Generally the character's not going to be half health, they're going to be like 100, then 50, then 0. Like, there's no in between. So again, their passive really isn't doing anything for them. And then they have an all rank 3 spells start with +1 max charge, which again, they have the main issue of you're not using tier 3 spells at PvP. So I really don't need another tier 3 spell. So essentially all of their passives don't really do anything. And that's pretty darn bad for them. And the only thing they have going for them, if you look at their ult, it's an ult that's a very slow charge, and when it does it, it's pretty good, but it's a PvE ult. It stops titans, it stops minions, it's whatever. But you're only going to use this like 3 times a game, and you're not going to be using it for PvP. However, when we compare this to to the Swamp Witch, the main reason why she's good is because, honestly, her passives aren't that great either, but the main thing is that her ult and her primary are really good. When you look at Astral Monk and you see their primary, you'll see this. It looks okay in a vacuum, but when you actually have a player and they're moving around, you're almost never going to be hit by this. You'll outrange it, you can literally just walk backwards and not get hit. You can outmove it without even dodging, compared to the witch, who it actually has tracking and does a good amount of damage. So go over to their primary, it's a tracking one, does a good chunk of damage and poisons. So that's the main reason why. So their primary is just a lot better, but a lot of their strength comes from their ultimate. This ultimate is OP as shit. It doubles their damage, it creates a larger projectile, and it doubles all their spell damage. So you pretty much hit every single hit and you do double damage. And this ult you get like nearly for free. You get it every like fucking 2 minutes. It's a very, very quick ultimate, and it's a very proactive, aggressive ultimate that I can just continuously spam with the witch and create lots of pressure, lots of damage, lots of permanent damage to towers and titans and all this. That's a lot of value compared to Monk, who's only ever gonna use their ult like 2-3 times a game to stop a titan push. While the witch can do that, but actually kill the titan instead of stopping it, but can also do it through the whole game. So it really is mainly just the ultimate. Again, their passives are decent. The witch's passives are decent, the primary is decent, but the ultimate is really just crazy currently, because you just get it all the time, and it's very, very good at killing people and very good at killing PvE. And because of that, even though the monk honestly isn't that bad, it's just that this ultimate is just so good that you can't even begin to talk about the monk because of that simple fact. And we're gonna have a similar issue here where, not for the ultimate, but for his passives. His passives are really, really bad. So again, we're gonna go over to this. So we have the Iron Sorcerer over here, and the main issue is buildings aren't good in the current game. And because of that, his entire thing is built on buildings. Creatures spawned from buildings have significantly more health, and all rank 3 buildings start with +1 max charge. So this character could maybe be good if buildings were good, but currently buildings are really bad, and I'll get into that later when I talk about the summons. And it's just a simple fact of, if your entire character is based around buildings, but buildings suck, why would I pick this character? The other issue is his mobility tool is a block. Block doesn't look that bad, but when you actually play the game, you'll realize that if I'm just sitting here trying to block, and I have a movement penalty as well, and I can't dash, I'm just waiting for my block to eventually run out, and then they'll just spam me again with their spells. Unlike if you have a dash, you can dash to your minions, you can dash to tower, you can dash to your teammates, you can dash pretty far away, and you'll be completely safe. And because of this, they're just really bad currently. He has no dash, and he doesn't have any working passive. So then we compare it to the Fire Elementalist, who's the fastest character in the game, has a really low cooldown dash, so he can clear jungle and he can come back really quickly. He also has a built-in infusion, which the Witch does as well. I forgot I mentioned that about Witch. Witch has a built-in infusion, which is, again, you're going to notice a trend here. The 3 characters with built-in infusions are just the best. So he has a built-in infusion, which is about 30 to 40% more damage on your minions, which is kind of a lot. It's pretty damn good. And simply because of that, a built-in infusion is honestly, if he just had that, I would still put him ass. But he has more than that. He also has his ultimate. And his ultimate, what it does is, let me go over to the spellcasters. Oh, wrong one. So what his ultimate does is it will automatically take an enemy territory. So if they have a tower there, it doesn't matter, you'll just instantly take that tower. So the game will boil down a lot to, you take the enemy's tower right here, their lifestone, and then they'll get a titan on both these lanes because this charge gives you titan gauge. And then their titans will walk down the lane, and then you'll use your Fire Elementalist ultimate, and you'll grab the enemy's back tower, and then you'll just back cap and kill their lifestone for essentially free while all their forces are ahead. So this ultimate is the best in the game, I'm gonna be honest. Probably second to Witch, but it's pretty damn good. The drawback is you only use it 2 to 3 times a game, but that's more than enough. Every time you use it, you should be taking a lifestone. So it's just a really good ultimate. Has good mobility, unlike him, and his passive actually is working and is good. So when destroying an enemy with a fire spell, all fire spells recharge faster. I don't know if they intended this or not, but currently your primary counts for this. Also, so does the cooldown reduction. It works for your summons, not just your spells. So whenever you're in a game, because of this guy will be summoning just so many minions, and then when he kills enemy minions, he gets his minion cooldown reduced, so he summons even more minions, and he's just a really snowbally character who gets really high levels. And the importance of that is not only just being higher level, but early levels matter a lot, because he'll get tier 3 minion first, so he'll take first tower, he'll have a lot of early pressure, and then he'll get tier 4 minion first, and he'll take another tower with a lot of pressure, and no one else has any spells, because all the PvP characters will be really low XP. And so no one can really fight your minions, and so you'll just take like the whole board over simply just because you'll be like 4 or 5 levels ahead. And that's where a lot of his strength comes. This guy just doesn't have, he has low mobility, his passives don't even work. And then finally we have Scribe and Stone Shaman. Again, gonna put him S tier. I will actually put Stone Shaman higher. You may be wondering why, and I'll confuse you even further because Stone Shaman's passives don't even work. His first passive over here, allies regenerate health near structures deployed by the shaman. Here's the issue with this though. Again, structures suck, but even if they didn't suck, the only working structures currently are ones that are going to be far away from the front lines. So this healing literally never happens. You will almost never actually heal your minions. So this is essentially useless. All rank 1 buildings start with max charge. This is functionally useless because there are currently no rank 1 buildings, or rank 2. And this is also useless because all rank 2 creatures start with 1 max charge. That's like okay, but you already start with like 3 or 4 to begin with. You don't need an extra one. So basically all of his passives are useless. His ult's okay, but he doesn't have a dash. No dash really sucks in the current meta. So you may be wondering, how is he not like trash tier like the other two? Well, that's simply because his primary is good. It's really that simple currently. His primary is good. Look at that shit. He staggers them. He does this to players too. He staggers them and pushes them back with knockback. And during the stagger, they can't cast anything. They can't shoot at you. The only thing they can do is try and dash away in between the staggers. So he can actually bully players in melee range. It's also a ton of damage. If you go full PvP with this dude, you can get a ton of damage and you can kill Dryads, which I'll go into the future why Dryads are OP. But he actually kind of counters Dryads, so in turn he's actually pretty good because he can stagger enemy players and he can kill buff ball Dryads. So that's really all he has going for him. His ult's not really that good. It's a wall that breaks in like a few seconds. I'll show it, but this wall looks decent, but it just breaks pretty quickly. It's really not that good, but it's simply because his primary is good. Again, if the buildings were actually good, this could instantly change, where this guy, I could very quickly see him being ass. But currently, his passives don't even work. So that's the main reason why he's just pretty bad. Also, something to note for future balance, if you see a pattern here... Oh, let's go back to the enchanter. Also, he doesn't even play like an enchanter. I really hope they add a different enchanter, because currently you play him like a conqueror. But anyways, so the enchanter here... The main reason why she's good is, again, just by proxy. Her counterpart's not good, so she's just good. But the main reason why she's good is because she has a built-in infusion that stacks. So her primary attack increases the max HP of all that get it. See, it's this thing. And increases allies' max HP. And this stacks with other infusions. Specifically, it stacks with her infusion, which also increases max HP and regeneration. So again, I'll get into it later, but Buff Ball is the current meta, and these two characters are really good at buffing everything. So this is just simply why they're good, is primarily because of their infusion. Their healing ultimate's also good. It's a good staller, but that's not why she's good. It's mainly because of her infusion. The other thing that's pretty decent is healing recharges rank 1 and rank 2 minions. So when you're healing yours and your allies' minions, you get more minions. So you keep dealing damage, so you keep getting XP, and you keep summoning things, so you keep getting more XP. And you'll notice a trend when you play the game that Fire Elementalists and the Scribe are always the top XP. They'll always be like 3-4 levels ahead of everyone else at least, if not like 6. So these guys just really get snowbally pretty quick. So that's that tier list. We'll go over to the spells. Spells are pretty easy because most of them are trash. So as I mentioned before, you have infusions from these two guys, the Fire Elementalist and the Witch, which don't stack, not even with each other. So that's the main reason why you don't want Fire Ray, because Fire Elementalist already has fire. So there's no reason to grab this. And you don't want Thunder Ray because you already have 2 infusions. So you will pretty much never actually use these to infuse with, which is, by the way, if you don't know, that's what you do. You infuse your minions with them, and they're not good at PvP. So just because currently infusions, maybe if later on infusions stack, these could be good, but currently you're just never going to use these. Next up is Earthquake, another trash one. You're never going to use it. It's intended to break buildings, but again, buildings are pretty darn bad, which I'll get into later. So just by proxy, this is bad because it counters buildings, but buildings aren't good currently, so it's just useless. You should never pick these three things. Fireball is pretty good. The main reason why it's not A or S is because simply in the game, when you do Fireball, you have a huge movement penalty, and more importantly, there's a giant ass line and a long like charge up time. So there's a long line whenever you target someone, they'll get from you to the enemy. So it'll just like make a nice point A to point B where it tells the enemy, oh hey, by the way, there's this dude trying to hit you and here's where they are. So if you just move, you won't get hit. It's really easy to dodge. You're very rarely actually going to hit this if they're semi-competent. And you can also just hide under your tier 4, tier 3 minions and never get hit by this. So you may be wondering why I'm not putting it a lot lower. It's because you still can get it off and it does a lot of damage. And you still need a slot, so like you might as well. Like you'll probably, there's some times where you might actually grab this. But this one, the astral shot, is gonna be the one you actually use. This one's really good because you get a lot of them. They're pretty quick and they'll waste your enemy's dashes. You shoot one of these, they'll dash away. You shoot another one, they dash away. Now they have one dash left. So either they've run away and you just own the lane now, or they're still here and they have no more dashes. And so you just keep spamming this until eventually they run out of dashes and you just start pelting them with them. And they'll eventually die by either your fireball or your shot. But because you can just spam this and they'll eventually run out of dashes, they'll eventually get fucked over and they'll have to die. Or back up and you just own the lane. So Astral Shot, if you're doing a PvP build, you will have to pick this. Like this is just the meta. Hard meta. You have to pick this. Next up, Heal Ray, I'll also put S, just simply because of Scribe's passive. Every time you heal, they recharge faster, but every time you heal an ally, she's healed for the same amount. And again, because she's hard meta, this is hard meta. Because she heals her allies, which gives her more minions, which gives her more XP, and then she just never dies. So this is just pretty good because you're always going to pick it on Scribe, and Scribe's just really good. Next, two tier 4s, they're both going to be S. They both just kill tier 4, tier 3 minions. You just use them, they'll explode whatever minions the enemy summon, or their buildings. It's just a lot of direct damage, decently AoE. I will say Grand Lightning is definitely significantly better than Nova. I think some people disagree with that, but my main reasoning is you can block Nova pretty easily if you're a character that has a block, like she has a block. She can just run in front of it and block it. So you had to be like point blank with it, and if I want to be point blank, I could just choose Lightning. And you can still block it too, so it's just Lightning's a little bit better. It doesn't really matter though. They're only tier 4 spells, so they're already going to be good, and they're the only spells that kill tier 3 minions, so they're just good. It's really just that simple, is that they just kill minions pretty well. And then we have the minions themselves. So again, I'll actually finally get into why I've said a lot of things I've said. Maybe I should have started with these first. Crypt's really bad, Tower's really bad. So here's why. So this is going to be a kind of a long-winded explanation, but Crypt's bad because what the Crypt does is it summons a tier 1 unit. So first off, let me just say the Crypt can't be destroyed or moved. If you put it down, it'll always be where it is unless it gets destroyed. So you can't destroy it yourself, you can't move it yourself. If you put it down, it will be there the whole game. It'll use up your cap for the entire game. So it will summon a tier 1 skeleton. It'll summon 3 of them at an interval. I'm not sure what the interval is. It's probably like 30 seconds-ish. But the main thing is that it takes a tier 3 cap to summon tier 1 units. And it's not like I'm summoning a bunch of tier 1 units. It's just 3 of them. If I wanted to do that, I could just summon tier 1 units. I would just summon these skeletons. It just doesn't summon enough of them, or at a high enough like frequency, to just be better than just summoning skeletons. Like I could just summon skeletons and not use the tier 3 cap. So that's pretty simply why the Crypt's bad. It just I could just summon fucking skeletons. Like I don't need you to do it for me. The next reason, so Astral Tower, similar to the previous one, A little different though is that when you put it down somewhere, again it'll stay there. So if I put it down at like my lifestone, it's going to be there the entire game. The entire game I'll be down at tier 3 slot. I will never use it until someone gets to my lifestone. So again, you lose a lot of your agency when you start putting down these buildings. And the other issue is it will not get you any XP. So if I'm summoning my shield guy right here, every time I summon it, every time it kills something, I get more XP. I will never get any XP from this tower after I summon it. Never. No more XP for the rest of the game for this entire slot. Unlike this guy who will get me XP the entire game. So it's just very inefficient to ever summon this. The only thing these things do kind of well is they kind of make juggernauts run towards them. And you can kind of kite them. But it's just not worth it. They're just pretty damn bad. I'm going to get to the next one that's a pretty bad pick. Ogre. So this is a tier 3 slot. I'm going to compare it to its other tier 3 slot. This is why it's being compared. Actually, we'll get to that first. Let's do deer. So deer, the main reason why deer is OP is because they heal each other, so they just never die. They heal you, so you never die. And they heal the other units, so they never die. It's honestly just that simple. The deers just keep everything alive, and you just create these giant buff ball comps and pushes that just never die. If like an astral witch just like beating the shit out of you, guess what you do? You just hide among your dryads. And you'll just live among the dryads like a fucking wood person, and they'll keep healing you like you're one of their little children. So you're just gonna be chilling with your dryads, and you'll just never die. So now we can get into this, why they're good. So why the shield's good is because it currently has a 100% block in front of it. You will deal 0 damage to it or any units behind it if you shoot at the shield. So there's no like damage reduction, it's just full damage, 100% damage. So the only way to ever hit a dryad is you have to fly behind the enemy's stuff to hit them. And that's OP as shit. Because you just can't attack their dryads unless you use spells on them or fly above them. And then like go around and try and hit their units. So it just makes a really, really strong defensive position, which forces the enemy to like go really out of position to like even start playing the game. On the contrary, the ogre does the opposite. When you summon the ogre in, it just darts right forward. It just instantly runs at Mach fucking 10 and it just runs away. And the issue is, again, it'll run like literally just like bloodthirst going right at something, and the dryads won't be able to keep up, and your dryads will never heal your ogre, and your ogre will just fucking melt away. And it won't deal enough damage to actually kill something. It's pretty decent. It does, like, actually, in a vacuum, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good anti-tank unit. Like, it would be good against this. It'd be good against the Juggernaut. But it just melts because of Dryads. Because you don't have Dryads, and the enemy does, essentially, when you play this. Because they won't be healed by your Dryads. You just kind of lose. They just explode. And a lot of this meta is going to be defined by Dryads. So, again, the same reason these guys fly. They can't be healed by Dryads. At least not well. So you'll just... Usually it's going to be a player, but it can be Rocketeers that will just take these out of the sky. It's kind of that simple. They just don't get healed. You're going to have like 30 Dryads, and they will never heal these guys. So they just slowly die without doing anything. Then we have this guy, and he has the issue of competing against the Dryads. Again, he's a decent anti-tank unit. Like, his whole purpose is he tries to like deal extra damage to tanks and stop them in the tracks. But that's nowhere near enough to actually kill a tank with a Dryad. And because these units, a tier 2 unit will use a tier 2 cap, you can't have Dryads and Golems. So you have to fight a team that has Dryads without Dryads. And you'll just never kill anything. And they'll kill everything. So you have to have a Dryad, and because of that, you can just never have a Golem. They're actually pretty decent units, it's just Dryads are just that OP. I would honestly give them their own tier, I just don't really feel like it. And then we have Rocket Soldiers. So the reason why these are actually good is because, remember how I mentioned before, to ever kill a Dryad, you essentially have to like fly behind enemy lines. Well, these Rocket Soldiers will instantly lock onto you and shoot you. So they defend Dryads and the player really well, because as soon as an enemy player like flies into their range, they'll just instantly beam them out of the sky. And they're really good defending Dryads. So again, that's why they're there. Juggernaut is here simply because it's the only siege unit. It's also the only tier 4 unit. So, this is also a siege unit, but it's tier 1. it will immediately just like go headfirst into towers. Good for 2 reasons. One, it takes a lot of shots, it can get you inside, and it's going to be your only tier 4 unit. So that will kill a lot of stuff. It's pretty much your only way to take life stones, so that's really good. The main reason why it's really good though is, again, I've mentioned before, current meta, Dryad shield, just buff ball, nothing never dies. This Juggernaut though does not give a fuck. He will push past these shield dudes, he'll push past the Dryads, and he'll actually break their formation, and you can start trying to kill stuff. And you can also hide under the Juggernaut, which is another goated thing about it, is when the Witch ults you, and you're just like, oh, let me just dash under my Juggernaut and just hide under it. Because I don't know, do they have... No, they don't show it. Okay. Well, the Juggernaut, you can just hide under it. There's enough space where you can hide under it, so if an enemy ults you, like the enemy Witch, you just hide inside of your Juggernaut and you just never die. So that's where it's a lot of his strength also comes from, is in PvP, if you just hide under the Juggernaut, you'll just never die. Hide with your Juggernauts and your Dryads, and the PvP just will never hit you. Archers, they're just worse versions of Rocketeers. Again, it just makes them bad. Because, again, tier slot issues. If they're worse than Rocketeers, there's no reason to ever pick them. Spiders, so they are worse than Rocket Soldiers, but they're pretty good at doing one thing. Enabling the Witch's passive, who is a meta character, of whenever the creature is destroyed, her spells and abilities recharge faster. So you just summon a bunch of these down, they'll go explode in suicide, they'll give you back like half charge, so you'll summon 5 more, but more importantly, your Witch's spells will recharge. So your Witch doesn't have to invest anything, and it just gets permanent like cooldown reduction, simply because these guys can just go suicide bomb. So that's why they're really good, is because with the Witch, you can just suicide bomb over and over and over again, and just have like a permanent 20-30% cooldown reduction. If you're doing a PvP build, you're not really going to care about any of this anyways. You're not really going to be leveling any of your minions, so you don't really give a shit about any of this shit. You just want the cooldown reduction in your spells, so that's why it's really good. Skeleton Warrior, it has the issue, again, of being compared to Rocket Soldier, which... it can actually kill players and defend Dryads, while Skeleton Warriors deal like no damage. They are decent. I will say they're actually pretty good, but they just don't really compare. They don't do enough damage to kill Dryads. They're just kind of there. The only thing that's going to be killing Dryad buff ball is going to be a player, and you don't need Warriors. It's going to be players killing it. So the Warriors are just kind of there. They won't die because of the Dryads, but they won't kill anything. Unlike the Rocket Soldier, who can actually kill players, Juggernaut, who can kill Titans, Shields, who will prevent your stuff from dying, these guys just don't really provide any value. And that's pretty much it. Do keep in mind, again, as I said at the very beginning, this is all subject to change. We already know they're going to add like 60% more spells. Sorry, they're going to add double the spells, 60% more minions, double the map. That's what we've already seen from leaks, so like, there's going to be a lot of changed stuff. We don't even know what content. They're probably going to balance some of this stuff, add some new content, maybe working passives. So, again, next playtest, this may not ring true, but for a current playtest, this is what the decisive meta was. For anyone who was wondering, or wants maybe a head start in the next playtest. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed.